What's up? It's April disrupting, we're vibing tonight. Trending topics in the spotlight, breaking down what's right. With smooth grooves and R&B, feel we bring the heat. Critical thought for everyday life, we're keeping it real.
Yes, Echo Disrupted, season 2, episode 12. Let the shenanigans.
Let the shenanigans begin.
What you said, ice baby?
I
Oh,
this is
sheesh.
this is what it is, right? This is what it is. We can get to the excuse me, get to the ice part. Let's start off, I guess, with what happened in Minnesota over the weekend with those lawmakers getting killed,
Mhm.
and the political temperature being raised, and the climate created by the jerk off in the big C. It's funny though, right? Although, yeah, the situation is what it is these days, but this is America, right? This is just how America goes, and it's not exclusive to America either, right? You've always got some zealot or some blowhard or some extremist that for whatever reason just can't separate politics from real life. Like, it's even on the religious side, it's never made any sense to me how people like would kill somebody just because you believe differently. It's almost at its essence, it's just like saying, "Oh, what? You like strawberry ice cream, not chocolate ice cream? Well, it's
Mm.
time for you to go." Literally, it's just that stupid. This guy had a list of 40 something intended targets.
Yeah, I
And,
heard upwards of 70, but I don't
oh,
know
was
that
it?
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's settle with your numbers, upwards of 70. And what is this? This is all for political beliefs, right? This guy was at one point was an appointed official to some bipartisan board, but at the
Abort.
end of the day, it's someone who decided, who opted, I'm going to kill somebody because of their political leanings. I don't know if there's anything more stupid.
And I think also what's concerning is along that thread of religion or religious beliefs, really, is that I think what starts to happen, I don't know if you heard about what Mike Huckabee wrote to the president, but it was along those same lines of feeling as though you're destined and you are on this mission from their belief of God. And I think for that Minnesota guy, if and it still has to all come out, but just from what was reported, I can't reconcile how you can be anti-abortion, but your answer is to kill somebody. Like,
But
where does this whole you're pro-life, but then you're going around killing somebody because they don't believe what you believe? That to me just slaps in the face of what your belief is.
that's along the lines of them hating Middle Easterns, but saying they love Jesus.
Yeah.
So white Christianity, and hopefully we won't get in any trouble for this, but white Christianity is the biggest farce going, right? Especially white American Christianity, because it's essentially, it's a separator, and that's really all it is. It is a mechanism to separate one person from another person, darkly complected people from lightly complected people, from non-melanated people with financial means to people who lack them. That's essentially what American Christianity is. It couldn't be further away from actual Christianity. You know, this to be able to, in one side of your mouth, claim Christ, but in the other side of your mouth say that Trump is chosen. It's like that's the biggest crock of bullshit ever. And all the while, I got into an argument. I got into it. No one could argument, a back and forth with some supposed Christian on social media who says Christ is like David, Trump is like David, where he has to go through all of this, all of these trials and tribulations, and then come up on the right side. I said, you people will tell yourself anything you want to tell yourself, right? And the worst thing is, and the guy's like talking all matter of factly, like all patriarchally, like he says, "Don't you know?" No, I don't know. It's a story. What are you talking about? But again, this is what America is, right? This, I think, this is probably what this. Like, there had to be a distinction. There had to be a distinction. I think that's what it would be, because it's viewed through the white lens. And again, just look through American history. Oh, we're a Christian nation. No, you're not. Right? You've committed the amount of atrocities that have been recorded, right? All the reasons why they don't want you to put, they don't want their kids learning about critical race theory and things of that nature. All the atrocities that you guys have committed. What Christian nation right? Following the edicts of Christ, following the word, could actually say, yeah, we've been a Christian the whole time. No, you're not. Like you guys are freaking Neanderthals. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. You're Neanderthals with a Bible. Never mind the atrocities committed in the name of that Bible. In the West Indies, they said when the missionaries show up, they give you a Bible, but they leave the deed to your land. So essentially, they come in with their Bible, give it to you. Hey, hold on to this. By the way, we'll leave with the land. Come on now. But either way, I digress. It's tragic what happened out there.
Yeah, and it could have been worse. Because a
It
couple of
probably,
those folks, because they said 2 people weren't home that he tried, and that was that hour and a half difference between the first home. I think it was Hoffman and then Hortman.
here's the other thing. With the ones that he actually killed, the cops met him in the driveway. He shot his way out of the driveway into the house and killed those people. What exactly do the cops do out there? I bet you if his name was Jerome, he had dreads and gold teeth, he would have made it out that parking lot, out of that driveway into that crib.
That's gonna probably, it's gonna come out, probably not that Brooklyn part, but there was the other town where he actually, so I think when the first Hoffman, they heard the shots, I guess they went through a whole process, I guess in this town, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's like fairly close. A cop did actually see him and stopped him, and he ain't say shit, and she was like, oh,
she let him go.
You let him go.
She got it's so that if we could segue into that just a tad, not too far into it. This is again what my argument has always been. You people find a way to justify your crimes. Again, if that dude had dreads, a mouthful of gold teeth, you wasn't gonna let him go. You wasn't gonna let him go like that. But you let this guy go because he's your neighbor, he's your uncle, he's the guy that delivers your mail. So you can see yourself in him. And now, to the degree where you let him go and he went and killed some people and was going to kill some more people if you could have gotten away with it.
Yeah, that list was hefty from the names that the people who came out and confirmed, meaning not that it was released that they were on there. So Ellison was on there.
Oh, really?
Ellison, yeah.
Probably, we should expect that, though.
Ilhan Omar, of course.
Should expect that.
Walls. I think Klobuchar as well, but I got to go back and double check on her. But yeah.
Did you see Trump saying that he's not going to call Walls? Again, the absolute most crass and unclassy person out here.
But see, this is why, slight tangent, this is why when Gavin Newsom was doing his podcast business and he had Bannon on there, he had Charlie Kirk, and it's this whole let's hear him out. Yeah, no. You kind of skipping a little bit into the ICE in LA and all that went down with Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass, not to mention just how that whole thing was just like blown up beyond measure. But it's that whole idea of you giving a platform to these folks. Okay, so you're going to have him on there. You better go at him pound for pound, the same way Tucker Carlson went after Cruz, and he was all in his neck. That's how you have to be with them. It can't be like, oh, my son likes you, Charlie Kirk. Oh, my 13-year-old. I'm just saying at the very surface level, you can't entertain that because you come into, what did they used to say? You come into a
gunfight with a knife.
Yeah, y'all just come in with paper clips. Y'all not even coming with anything to even puncture. So anyway.
No, but if that's the connection to what we just said about that cop that let the guy go. Yeah. You guys see a commonality with people who've declared themselves the enemy. There's, for them, from their standpoint, they're ready to kill you over a political belief. And here you are extending olive branch after olive branch, no matter how many times they tell you, I'm going to shove that olive branch in your ass and pull it out your throat.
Yeah.
But this is also how you explain how America goes from what it's supposed to be to what it actually is now. Because there's always a justification, right? There's always Gavin Newsom. I thought Gavin Newsom was going to be my man when he rolled up on Trump at the airport and punked him. And pinched his nipples and almost pulled his ears. I said, damn, I'm gonna have to go get me a Gavin Newsom tattoo. And then what does he do? He turns into a white boy and he backslides Because at the end of the day, and I've said this 1,000 times, at the end of the day, a white boy is going to be a white boy. Bill Maher, a white boy is going to be a white boy. Just is what it is. Because what they have in common is that we are part of this system. This is our system, right? We may make some tweaks around the edges, this, that, and the third, but we are the system and it works for us, right? We will not impact, we will not break the system because we know what the implications of that is. So what we will do instead, we will argue, we will bend and twist, but one thing we will not do is we will not break the system. It just is what it is. Moving on to the war in the Middle East, the rising war in the Middle East. Love to get your thoughts. What do you think?
Oh, I think we are already in World War III. I just think that now we're at this, I'm going to give it 2 weeks. The default responses to everything is Biden and it's 2 weeks.
Yep.
I'm going to make a deal in 2 weeks. I'm going to solve prices in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Biden did it. This is just crazy. But what I will appreciate, though, is the transparency of there being so many eyes in what social media can be positive. I say that from a Netanyahu perspective. I think CNN did one, and there's another
Yeah, that
one.
was what that was.
And the Daily Show did one as well.
That was really good.
Yeah.
That what CNN did, kudos to them clowns.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, so I think being able to put that information out there and just show that this has been going on since what, the Nike Air Max, whatever, 95s. Oh man, this is crazy. And I think that's probably what a lot of politicians and just in general, people I think all of us in general, there's a videotape now and there's a trail and it can be cataloged and used and put out there. So now saying that to say that I don't know what games 47 is playing out here. He is getting spun around like a top for real. These dudes are just swatting him around. Everybody's playing him. And unfortunately, I don't know what that means for America. And I'm talking about, God willing, we make it through this term or even get to midterm elections, if there's even any, or whatever that looks like, what the dollar is in the world, what that means. I feel like this is generational shit to dig out of. So
no question. Absolutely no question.
I think we are in World War III. It's just on some, no one wants to say it, but I think Netanyahu said it. He said it already. This whole Trump didn't know and he's leaving the G7. It was so much theatrics around it. Him leaving, not wanting to meet with Modi, not wanting to meet with, oh geez, I see his face. The war that's going on.
And Ukraine?
Yeah, thank you. Zelensky, yeah. And all these things that he's doing and then the show and spectacle of it. This shit isn't reality show, The Apprentice 2025. This is real life.
This is real life.
And the way this is playing out, I am concerned. I'm not going to lie. When they said that they were going to strike, how do you tell? I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place. How do you, first of all, get on social media, your social media, and say, hey, Tehran, y'all need to get out of there.
Y'all better clear out.
Y'all got to clear out fucking 10 million fucking people. Imagine New York City telling everybody y'all got to get the fuck out of there. Are you serious? Okay, so right before that happened, that's when I thought I was on a ledge. What is happening? We almost had World War III before when he was in his first term, when he did that strike on the Iranian.
Yep.
You my brain, because
what you call it, the military leader.
Yeah. So everything that he's tried in his first term, he's succeeding in his second term because of all the nutbag sycophants.
All the guardrails are gone.
Yeah, there are none. This is crazy taxi for real. But I apologize. I didn't
no.
I didn't even form a complete thought because it's just like one word, and I'm like.
No, but we understand. Here's the thing: difference. And you said something that was key. You've given a person with no moral compass the keys to the world. who doesn't have the etiquette or the wherewithal to be able to discern between making a move that's going to impact people on a global level and taking measured steps and just saying, yo, I don't care, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Because it's an ego trip. And the other thing too is another thing you said was key. He thinks this is The Apprentice. He thinks this is a game show. Donald Trump has never done a serious job in his life. Donald Trump has never made $1 in his life. He's never had, his companies don't turn profits. He's been a failure at everything he's done. He's a terrible executive. That's not, I had a conversation with someone the other day, it was an Asian lady. And she said, oh, how come they say he's a good businessman? I said, good question. Why don't you go look it up? But the issue is it's all image. So now when we as a people, right, are accustomed to our presidents doing their work and we don't hear much about what they do. Right? They ain't on social media broadcasting to us every move they make and every thought they have. This clown gets up here and start talking all kind of crazy.
Oh, by the flagpole.
And just you name it, right? I call it the flagpole. He just got into it with the Treasury Secretary, right?
Oh.
It's all these different things day in, day out. What you're watching is a whimsical individual who lacks impulse control, who no one will say, yo, you need to chill, bro. Fall back, homie. But this is what America deserves. At least white America deserves. Because you guys perpetually do this to yourselves. Middle America, you perpetually do this to yourselves. You've been doing this to yourselves since Reagan. Because what they'll do is they'll dangle a Mexican in front of you. They'll dangle the welfare queen in front of you. They'll dangle a Cuban in front of you. Oh, these people are stealing your stuff. Meanwhile, you can't go to the supermarket and shop anymore because they're cutting your SNAP benefits. You effing morons. Listen, at the end of the day, Black people gonna be fine. You know why? Because this is what we do. We're resilient. We are survivors. This is how we built. It's these people that's gonna jump out windows again. Every time something go wrong, they jump out a goddamn window or shoot themselves in the head or go jump in the ocean or whatever it is that they do. Right? It's these people who can't deal with this, who can't deal with the reality that they built, not us. Right? At the end of the day, we survivors. Yeah, will it be tough? Probably, but that's what we do. Right? Shoot, it be cold outside and freezing, so on and so. We throwing a barbecue, dancing in front of the building. Right? That's where we come from, right? Mm-hmm. It's y'all who don't know how to survive. So keep digging your grave. Only thing is, we might want to start collectively, at least some of us start collectively looking at it at an exit strategy, because this ain't gonna last too long. You just said another thing you said, they spinning them around left and center. This dude trying to put $1 in his pocket. He ain't worried about the welfare of the United States.
I know, right? Let me launch this phone that's not made in the USA.
He grifting left, right, and center, and they justifying it, right? Oh, he's not even taking a salary. The salary's pennies for him. This dude making all kind of money off crypto.
Right. He making money off of pardons.
Listen, he making money left and right. What I need $400,000 for? Get out either way. Which now the interesting part is, right? Moving on to the big, beautiful bill. It's running into some resistance. I don't know how long that's going to last. It's running into some resistance in the Senate. And that thing is chock full of a bunch of nonsense. If he gets that passed, he's a president into perpetuity, right? Because they've removed liabilities. What do you call it? Wow. They're removing judicial liability. So if they get called to court, they ain't got to show up. They are essentially, it becomes an autocracy. But never mind that, all of the deep cuts in all the social programs, if you're making $17,000 annually, I think by 2029, your taxes will go up 74%. Meanwhile, the people with the multi-billionaires, their taxes are decreasing. How do you justify something like that? Not the person trying to pass the bill, because that's what they do, right? They're looking out for their best interest. The people who are voting for this, right? They told you, oh, wow, some trans kid is going to be playing basketball against your daughter. Now you got to vote for me. And meanwhile, this is what the trade-off is.
Yeah, that whole bill is interesting because you have to look at what people are really complaining about. Oh, you're going to increase the debt. But you seem to be okay with all that other stuff. You know, the people that are the holdouts, and the person that's coming to mind is Rand Paul for some reason.
There's a couple of them,
There's
aren't
a
there?
couple, yeah, it's a couple of them, but he's been around a little bit more. I just wonder if whatever that compromise becomes, it still won't be the one thing that most of us are against it for, right? No, if
Point.
it's the Medicare, those sort of things, it's those that's not what the folks are upset about. So that one, I'm curious to see how it goes. I don't have any faith in anything, so I'm not expecting anything in particular to happen. And I also think that with what happened in Minnesota, we touched on it in an earlier episode. Mikowski said that she was scared, and a lot of that stuff happens, and you wonder why a lot of these people who probably don't agree with it because they're constituents, and you could look at the No Kings rally and all of the different towns and places that had, you wouldn't expect to have a turnout like that. But these people are scared for their life because there's any number of those type of people that they are already getting threatened, and they feel like they have to go along with what's there. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but I'm just saying that when you have that up against voting for a bill, you end up having things happen like that where people feel like, oh, my life is on the line, and they're not thinking about their constituents. That's
Totally get it. But now America is essentially a third world country at this point. Right. So this is what it is, right? If this is how we're making decisions, so not in the best interest, not in the best interest of constituents, in the best interest of the special interest groups. So essentially America's, now we're Turkey, right? We are all these autocratic run countries. That's where we're going. And the writing has been on the wall for quite some time, because America, again, be it the Tea Party, and which essentially became MAGA, right? Everybody's essentially saying, hey, I'm mad at this. I'm not necessarily concerned with how it impacts me down the line. I'm mad at this. These people are taking mine, and they're leveraging that. They're leveraging that to get you to swing to get you to vote against your interests. And then several years down the road is when it starts to hit you. And then now who are you going to blame? Of course, are you going to blame Biden? No, dumbass, this is you. Right? I had a back and forth with a white dude about Ronald Reagan. And I said, you guys are screwed because of Ronald Reagan. Reagan screwed the middle class. Oh, what are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. I run it down for him, so on and so forth. Oh, no, that was Clinton. I said, no, that was Reagan.
He started this whole debt.
The whole thing, right? The whole mess, right? This is all Reagan's baby. But because you're relying on a corporate-based media, the story is not going to be told properly. It's not going to be contextualized properly. When the mess starts, no one's going to remember how we got here. No one's going to do what CNN did. To me, now I want to know what CNN does next.
They weren't the only one. Meaning I'm not expecting much.
Same here. We'll move on. We mentioned it a little bit about Trump's messy handling of the deportation. So it is my understanding he's trying to beat Obama's numbers, but of course he's doing it in a sloppy manner. They don't know as many people as Trump deported as Obama deported. It was surgical. It wasn't people who were working. It wasn't people who were enmeshed in society. It was people who had done wrong and people who weren't supposed to be here, right? This dude is just basically showing up at work sites and saying, yo, you. So now you run up in California where the Latino population is dense, right? And some people ain't having it. And so now you got to deal with the consequences, right? And because of course everything is vengeance motivated for him, so now he brings in the National Guard, and then he brings in the Marines. This is like a 2 to 3 block, from my understanding, 2 to 3 block span of all this stuff happening, with all the imagery, the people swinging the Mexican flag on a burning car, and white people losing their minds, as though on St. Patrick's Day y'all don't do the same thing with the Irish flag on burning cars and what have you. Oh, when what you call it, when your team wins a championship of some
like
sort,
they're Philly.
how you tear your city up and do the same thing with whatever school flag it is. It's just amazing, but it's imagery and how the story's told. Your thoughts, please.
No, I agree 100% because I know a lot of folks that live in LA and around that area. And it was like, if you go like maybe 3 or 4 blocks away from there, people were still having brunch,
Yeah.
getting smoothies. It was as if nothing was going down. They wouldn't have known that was the case. So I do believe, again, that kind of goes back to being able to now see things in real time, everyone has a phone and people can record it and see exactly what the real is and have access to get that information. Whereas before it was just, you had to turn on your local TV channels or cable news and get the information. But now it's right there. Discernment.
What
It's
are your
there.
thoughts on the military parade?
You know, the one thing I will say though, I haven't really heard a woman died at that parade.
Really?
Yeah, a tank fell on her. And I was just like, why is
You
this?
gotta be kidding me.
No. And I was just like, why is this not out? I know why. I was just like, wow. Again, that just was another nod to how America is being played and seen. I think, was it Russia, India? Everybody had some jokes on that parade. So I just question what our stance is in the world from
Oh,
a
listen. Oh,
world
we
leader. You
we
know.
have fallen.
I know.
We
So
we
that's
have
my
fallen.
takeaway from it. The Russia, the Kim Jong type of things. And whether or not the servicemen, unfortunately, they get put in the middle, or some was talking about whether or not they're even participating because they had to, but also how they were even marching, if that was some kind of form of
Protest.
protest. I don't know. I wasn't in the military, but
Yeah.
it just is very interesting. But that takeaway from that whole thing, that was a waste. So we'll see how much damage will be done to DC.
Oh yeah, they ran the numbers down. They said I think the entire parade might have been like anywhere from 45 to 70 something
Yeah.
million, and a good portion of that was actually to repair the streets after the tanks ran across them. So you started a problem just to waste money. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just, you talk about wasteful. Meanwhile, you got people starving here. You have people who can't feed themselves, and look at where this money's being wasted. Again, you let the biggest idiot in the room get the keys to the Beamer, and he's trying to hit every curb and every corner and every sidewalk with your brand new rims and your $800 tires, and he's making a complete mess. Either way, we can move on. I wanted to, on a lighter note. On a lighter note, thoughts on, how tuned in have you been to the Diddy trial?
I've been tuned in. I wasn't involved in the lead up to it, but for the most part, I'm tuned into the trial.
I gotta say, like, I was listening to, what is she calling herself? What's 50 Baby's mom calling herself? I forgot her name is. What's
Jane
her
Doe?
alias? She got an alias
Jane
on
Doe?
Jane Doe. There we go.
Uh-huh.
So when I'm listening to what they talking about, I'm like, ain't y'all got children? Like, what? Y'all be really, listen, kudos to y'all for having that level of sex drive at this stage of your lives. I'm saying you must have 26 hours in your days. You must. When do you have time? But I will tell you, it's the strangest thing though, right? From the time, and I don't listen, I don't like Puff, not one of my guys. But what he's being charged with and what they've laid out doesn't make any sense to me. And now we go into all of these salacious details about all this stuff. I'm like, okay, how is this helping anything? As a man, he's destroyed. His image is destroyed. If Puff get out of this, ain't nobody touching Puff. Ain't nobody touching Puff.
I
But
beg to differ.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have a whole other episode. We can talk about this shenanigans on that.
Okay. Really quick. Tyler Perry. I think this dude's trying to steal Tyler Perry money. TP needs to chill out though. He need to know who he talking greasy to. And lastly, Dame Dash losing everything. That's your home, people.
Man, listen, I haven't even looked at that. That hasn't even entered my radar.
We'll save that for another episode. Then.
Yeah, definitely. But it's always good catching up.
Great to get back together.
All right.
Back in the saddle.
Back in the saddle. Another one down.
What's up? It's simple, disrupting, we're vibing tonight. Trending topics in the spotlight, breaking down what's right. With smooth grooves and R&B, feel we bring the heat. Critical thought for everyday life, we're keeping it real.